within the confines of the tournament rules. But straight into the draft, which is good to see. And we'll get an idea as to whether or not we'll see these kind of kooky bans continue. Zoe and Cassante, maybe not as out there as some of the bans that we saw yesterday. Vi, Yumi getting tossed in there as well. These seem to be a little bit more standard for mine. And I think that Zoe is probably just a target ban against Dynamo. Did play it yesterday, so we can look into that and say, you know, pretty standard stuff. Again, the Skana ban from Saudi Arabia. They banned it in a couple of their games yesterday.
Yeah, it certainly was there. Maybe it was in that other Bahrain game.
I think it was Kuwait. I think it was actually Kuwait that banned Skana. But the thing is, like,
Bahrain. So they must know that Voodoo is a Skana player, and maybe they're worried about it.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing, right? It's just a bit, you know, again, is it worth putting a ban into Skana? Well, we had that discussion around the Draven and the Jarvan yesterday, and it certainly seemed like the answer, at least in that case, was yes. So again, maybe these players are a little bit more in tune with one another than we obviously are. You've got the Melio picked up straight away. Very standard, very meta, very solid stuff from Saudi Arabia. No surprise that that's going to be going in the direction of Michal, who yesterday played a couple of games of Yumi, but Melio you'd have to expect at this level should be in the champion pool. Blitzcrank, good counter. Good choice coming through from Bahrain as an option. And the Maokai, the selection as well. So 2 solid picks to start the draft off for Bahrain, but it doesn't really tell us a whole lot as to where this draft is going just yet.
Onda going to try to hit some of those hooks again and see if they can maybe catch Team Saudi Arabia caught napping. Not too sure if they will be or not. Team Saudi Arabia all smiles, as you can see on the player cams, discussing what they want to do, what kind of fun they want to have, and it is just going to be the Aphelios pair up with the Melio. 3rd pick about to come through. Let's see if they're going to lock that in for the jungle. Most teams seem to be trying to save those counter picks for the mid, for the top lane. But we're going to see mid locked in. So Omicron going for the Silas. Wants to get the nice Nature's Grasp back. Big ult to steal there. And that could stop Team Bahrain from going too teamfight heavy in terms of big ults here.
Yeah, Onikan was, I think, a big standout actually for Saudi Arabia yesterday. Played Lissandra, played Ari, and had quite a good game in both of those cases, so don't necessarily mind putting the priority into the Silas early if they expect that that's going to be banned away and it's a champion that he wants to pick up. We've got, once again, another Kai'Sa selection here for Bahrain. We've seen, you know, just again, this is the thing with West Asia, is that there has been a vastly higher variety of champions selected in all lanes than any of the previous regions that we've watched so far. So had a little bit of Lucian, had a little bit of Kai'Sa yesterday as well. We were talking about that, or at least Rusty and Mad Magical were talking about that. They had the Kai'Sa game. Yeah. But yeah, it's just not too surprising to me at this point to kind of see these like out of the ordinary selections coming through. And I guess these players do just have the champions that they like to go to, and you know, let the meta sort itself out. And I think that's fair enough, right? Sometimes you don't necessarily want to play towards the meta champions if you're not super comfortable on it.
Yeah.
But you know, I look at the Aphelios and the Melio, and I think that is just such a powerful bot lane that is going to provide you so much value later on in the game as well, that if this Kai'Sa can't get ahead, she's really going to struggle to keep up the pace with the likes of the Aphelios.
Yeah, I'd have to agree there as well. And in terms of the bans, we're going to see Ornn taken out, Syndra taken out, Gase taken out, and Ari removed. So we'll see where they're going to be able to make it from there. Annie going to be locked in straight away, so Bahrain, that's another relatively large ult that Silas can snatch away, depending on if, of course, that Nature's Grasp is available. What are we going to see as an answer for Team Saudi Arabia? We're going to go for the Aatrox. So we're going to be seeing some Aatrox up top. Where are we going in the jungle for Ajwad?
Yeah, it's a little bit interesting to me that they leave the jungle pick to the last selection here, given that we already see the Maokai on the other side of the field. You would have thought, as you sort of said, Mac, that maybe the Silas was not expected as the 3rd pick for Saudi Arabia, that they would have preferred to maybe leave it for the counter pick. But ultimately, that's just the way they've decided to go with this draft here. It'll be Viego in the end there for Saudi Arabia. So a lot of early game skirmishing, a lot of melee champions up there on the top side of the map. And if you do make a little bit of a mistake, right, against the likes of Aatrox, and Silas. They're going to lock you down forever. Viego as well has a stun there, so you know, mispositioning is really going to be punished here, and I actually don't mind that Gangplank selection. It does sort of counteract some of that crowd control that you're going to see coming through. It's quite a heavy crowd control top side of the map, so maybe the Gangplank has a little bit of an easier time into that, but certainly the Annie, especially an immobile mid laner, if she's not careful and she gets out of position, you pretty much just are not going to be allowed to move.
Yeah, and that can get very dangerous very quickly, but where to for all these champs? Looks like we are going to see Viego making it to the jungle. I was a little bit worried there because we have seen, you know, historically Silas was able to jump into the jungle for a while. And I thought, look, with everything we've seen in this region, I wouldn't be surprised if something creative like that was going to be pulled out from the back pocket. But Team Saudi Arabia seem to be pretty happy with what they've brought to the party. And that sole large source of that AP damage is going to be the Silas overall. So you're going to have your eyes on mid lane. Should be one form of win condition, but in terms of the team fight, you'd argue that it might end up working better for Team Saudi Arabia. They can certainly snowball with the Viego pick in the jungle. Ajwad, very strong in the jungle in his previous games, and if you can get just that one pick, then things can go wrong really quickly for Team Bahrain.
Yeah, indeed. Just taking a look at the drafts as a whole again, my eyes are initially drawn down to the bot lane as the first point of contact, and I do much prefer what Saudi Arabia have drafted down in this bot lane. That, of course, bearing in mind that they may still struggle if the Blitzcrank can hit their hooks, so there's definitely a little bit of a win condition there for Bahrain down toward bot, particularly if junglers are pathing down in that direction, but I'm always a fan of the Aphelios. I think you give it enough time, it's going to always provide some kind of value. And then on the top side of the map, again, the skirmishes are just going to be so scary. I think Maokai, right, he's going to provide a lot of value in terms of the crowd control and the vision control later on in the game, and into the mid game he's going to start to get a bit tanky, but he is one of those champions that can be a little bit squishy early on in the piece, and I'm seeing some highly aggressive kind of fights on the cards potentially here for Saudi Arabia, with the Viego trying to get in the face of Maokai, quick roams up from Silas or down from Aatrox, and that 2v2 just seems kind of unbeatable to me, but here's a little bit of something different.
A cheese attempt. I think we saw Team Bahrain yesterday looking for something similar to this, but it was over towards the bot side, and nothing really happening. You can see Team Saudi Arabia, everyone just chilling over towards the red buff, expecting an invade, but it is going to happen on the other side of the rift here. So we'll see if Team Bahrain are going to commit to this setup. They're expecting a top to bot clear, but it looks like Ajwad might be going the other way. Oh, no one hangs around, but they will get that ward down. They might have been able to find Wufo, but of course you just don't want to spend that much time investment sitting in the bush when you have all 5 members, or things can go wrong quick in all those lanes. Okay, Voodoo and Dynamo end up hanging around. We are going to see Fun start to walk across here, and it might be the invade. It will be the invade. They've got every bit of info that they need, and they're going to go forward. Voodoo, what's he started with? Looks like he's going to be slowing a Wufo. Okay. However, the smite comes through, and Ajwad gets away with that one.
That's just a little bit too clean from Saudi Arabia, right? You can't afford to put all of those resources into that invade and then get nothing from it. Yeah, Ajwad is now level 2. Voodoo's really far behind. Onikan's been able to get a favorable lane set, and now he's starting to roam his way up. So this is going to make life really difficult for Bahrain to play on the top side of the map. They have severely mismanaged that invade, and now they are getting bullied out of their own jungle. Look at how much CS Dynamo is missing in mid, how much XP he's missing in mid. Yeah. That is not a good start at all, and you do have to also give up your red buff. So
looks like it is just going to be Ajwad saying, hey, I'm vertical jungling. If you don't like it, well, then come fight me.
It's not even that, though, Mac. I don't think it's going to be necessarily just vertical jungling. I mean, he has every right to potentially get back down to his red buff as well, and get that as well and deny that away from Voodoo. So he might actually just 3-camp the Bahrain jungler. He's going to take away the Krugs there up in the top side of the map, too. And Voodoo, I mean, look, without the prio in the mid lane or the prio in the bot lane, and knowing that you're a Maokai, which isn't exactly the strongest of invading junglers, you are not really super confident about making this invade down to the red buff.
Ooh.
Granted, he can drop a few saplings for it, information, but
right here. going to be taking a fight with the GP. Going in. Fun. Keep taking this damage. Ajwad could be in trouble as he's overstayed his welcome. Wufo just a little too late to the party. Fun going to be forced out of lane. So the gank overall pretty good for Ajwad.
Yeah, I think Ajwad there just recognizing the limitations of his champion and knew that he was kind of okay. It looked a little bit awkward for a moment, but
yeah,
cooldown's definitely an important factor to consider when you're playing against the gangplank, and if he's not able to get those Qs across, then...
Invade coming through now, if they're going to crack it.
Yeah, but I think maybe this is a little bit too late, Mac, to actually take the red
it's
buff.
the gank. No, they're just syncing up to go gank bot instead. You can see that Team Saudi Arabia are not expecting this one at all. There is going to be vision close enough to the river, but they won't expect Voodoo in this position. And it's going to be the 4-on-2. Surely there is no world where Mimic gets away. He's gone. Mishal as well is going to be forced to flash out. Ajwad trying to match by walking on in this direction.
All things
but it is
considered,
Team Bahrain taking first blood.
Just one death there, I think it's totally fine. And now you get to see the revenge storyline. Dynamo able to flash out. Lucky that the Viego wasn't there or the Milio wasn't there, because that crowd control lock would probably have been his end, and that was what I was talking about in that draft. The Silas can lock you down for a long time, and then with the assistance of the Viego, that further gets compounded. And again, Ajwad just in Voodoo's jungle, causing problems. They probably don't kill him here. He's still got the flash available. But
you're right.
You're just getting forced out of your own jungle again. I mean, there's a Gromp you can take if you're Ajwad here if you want to. Probably a little bit concerned about the bot laners resetting, so doesn't want to overcommit to that, and does have a full bot side jungle to farm anyway.
Yeah. Early noon quiver coming through for Panda in the meanwhile, which means farming is going to be that much easier on the other side of the lane, though. Mimic with the cull. So coming back with that to try and accelerate himself over to the top lane. Wufo playing a dangerous game, and at mid, missed attempt at the gank. Onda just showing some form of presence, and you spotted Ajwad there over towards the Raptor camp. So info going his way. Mishal not going to commit to trying to find anything other than just that vision in the river. And what do we see from Onda here? Just getting rid of the vods.
Well, you can't really see the problem, though, Mac, with this bot lane. Flash over the wall from Onda.
Going quick. Oh, nice hook. Could be on for something here. Panda going to be able to chase this one down. Mishal could certainly fall, but Mimic in the meanwhile just pumping so much damage onto the ADC. It is going to be a traded kill, and overall, you think that one favors Mimic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he can continue to farm. He can probably take a tower plate here, knowing that his jungle's on the bot side of the map as well, and Onda can grab a bit of CS, but ultimately you want that money going over to the AD carry. Here's a gank angle in mid as well.
Voodoo.
But Silas...
He's going to be able to find it.
Uh-oh.
He gets on there. Voodoo goes under the turret, takes that shot. Onikan should be fine. Have the little bit of life steal on his abilities to try and make this one happen, but it is going to be, the Nature's Grasp used real early. He's pinged 6 in the meanwhile, and that is Ajwad getting a reset, and Dynamo falling off the back of it.
Still, I mean, a 2-for-1 in the mid lane, plus the wave shoving in under the tower there for the Annie. Not going to be happy about that. Doesn't have TP. Will lose a lot of farm off of that. Again, fighting in the bot lane.
Mimic should go down here, but he is going to be at least able to trade Mishal. He'll be the one to receive the kill. So things probably going to favor Bahrain in that particular exchange.
Let's take a look back at all these replays. Onikan, I mean, I think as Voodoo, that is a bit of a sin. Playing on the Maokai, you can't really afford to be taking that W.
He hits that level up halfway through the fight.
Yeah, but when you know you're going to get taken onto the tower, that's that free extra bit of damage that really enables this play to actually happen. Onikan does go down, but you know, you get those kills over onto Ajwad, on the Viego as well. I think that's fantastic. Mishal making a little bit of a mistake here, getting caught out. That's not ideal.
Yeah.
And the shenanigans continue down in the bot lane. But look, I mean, if we take a reset, if we take a step back, we look at all of this. Yes, it's been messy. We've seen some stranger ganks happening and playing out. But ultimately, we're looking at an Aphelios Milio bot lane. If they're keeping themselves even, which so far they kind of are, and an accelerated jungler.
Jordan, I think you need to stop trying to do any color casting this game, because what I'm seeing is just a mess. We're seeing fights every time you try to break anything down.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting today.
It really is. But I mean, look, the numbers are there. 5-on-5 as far as the kills are concerned, but Saudi Arabia have a composition that's going to enable them to win this game a little bit easier than Bahrain do at the moment. And look, Voodoo's just completely out of this game. Everything he tries to do is falling to dust. He's really in trouble on that Maokai.
Has he got level 6 yet? No, 2 levels away from his ult. So that's where he's certainly going to hit his power spike. And Team Saudi Arabia aware that, hey, if we just don't let him get to level 6, we can get as much advantages as we possibly
Oh
can
my.
early on. Fun, that does not look like fun for him. Knock back, almost securing the deal.
Dynamo's coming up here as well, alongside potentially even Onda, so that needs to be communicated here by Onikan, but
Ooh, yeah.
maybe has come through a little bit too late. Still, Wufo might feel okay about this.
He's still hanging around. Will invest the flash to try and get away. Looks to try and lifesteal up and survive, but it's not going to last too much longer. So, too many men to deal with there. And Team Bahrain will lead in terms of the kills, but not the gold.
Yeah, just need to maybe buy another 5 seconds or so there, and that could have really been something for Saudi Arabia. Ultimately, though, Bahrain do find that advantage. I've been liking the roams from Dynamo. I think he's been effective on the roams, but just has to be a little bit aware of how much CS he's giving up in mid. 31 to 67 farm is a real problem. Up in the top lane as well, 29 to 65 farm is insane.
Yeah, CS
Jungle,
gaps everywhere, man.
28 to 42. Bot lane's down by 10 CS, which is, you know, as good as it actually gets for Bahrain, especially considering Panda does have a few kills in the back pocket. So the one shining light of hope really for Bahrain at the moment is that Kai'Sa down in the bot lane. But as I've said before, I'm on Team Aphelios right here. I just see that scaling into the game way better, especially with Emilio support versus Blitzcrank support. Yes, Blitz can always find you some value if you hit some good hooks, but if everyone on your team is behind, the Blitzcrank hook connects, you know, maybe you're just feeding over a free kill to Saudi Arabia at that point. So it's going to be really, really hard to find angles actually for Onda in this game, despite the fact that he as an individual is not having a terrible game here.
Just whacking a couple of these minions at mid. And that CS gap continues to get larger. Wufo playing on more of a carry champ today, and Dynamo ain't getting away from that one.
Wow. All right. Well,
Wufo with the all-in.
That's what Aatrox can do. Just want to check Dynamo's level, but I would have to imagine that he's down on levels. Wufo's very accelerated, level 9. You can see this is the level 5 Blitz and the level 6 Maokai trying to kill the level 9 Aatrox. I don't know about this one, Mac.
1v2 angle, Wufo, is he too large? We are about to find out, and that's going to be the GP ult coming through to try and help him out. So, Global's there. Onda waiting and hoping Panda's going to be able to finish this one off, which he will, so that will be great for the Kai'Sa. Arjwar tries to follow, but won't be able to get there in time.
Yeah, but again, just feeding another kill over to Panda. Lots of priority going to be put on Panda this game. This is your game to carry. If there's ever anything for Bahrain, it's going to come from that Kai'Sa. There's another kill, so 5-2 and 0.
Ports in transition. Maybe getting a little bit too happy, a little bit too fancy pants there. And back down towards bot we go. Mimic has been farming in the meanwhile, but there has been that kill at least picked up on Kai'Sa. So we'll solo bolo in mid. And Wufo, of course, just going to keep that ult on cooldown, it seems. Arjwar invading, still on the red buff. And similar to what we saw yesterday, no attempts at the Drake have happened just yet. No one really wants it. It feels like they are much more interested in fighting here in West Asia.
Yeah, maybe now we start to see some presence being put in that direction. It'll be a bit of an awkward fight for Saudi Arabia because I think a lot of their strength actually does lie in Wufo right now, who has levels on almost everybody. In fact, does have levels on everybody on Bahrain. And you've got the 5-2 Kai'Sa running around in the bot lane, so you don't really want to be fighting against that right now. Still, it looks like they've got enough control that Bahrain's just going to give that one over.
A little bit of tenacity is going to go a long way there with the Chemtech Drake. And what have we got for the next one? Cloud Drake coming through. No soul just yet. No rift shifting.
Top lane's going to be a real problem right here for Bahrain, right? They have, as I've said, a strong Kai'Sa, but that Kai'Sa is not going to be able to do anything about Wufo up in top, and Voodoo going down in mid. That's another kill for Arjwar on the Viego. So just a lot of points of strength across the map for Saudi Arabia, where there's
16 kills in 12.5 minutes.
Really, there's only 1 point of strength for Bahrain, and admittedly, again, another fight. There's another one for Silas. Admittedly, like 5 kills is nice, Mac, but you're on 76 CS at 13 minutes. That is not a severely accelerated Kai'Sa. You're kind of making up for that lack in CS with the kills.
Yeah. And there's another one. Fun able to finally get some revenge there onto Woofo. With a solo bolo coming through from him. Arjwar going to try to take 1v2, feeling like he's invincible in the jungle. Will have the red buff to at least help him out. And Unicorn not too far away. In the meanwhile, Herald just going to be whacking away at the plates here. Unicorn gets another solo one, but won't hang around and push the point this time. Voodoo, of course, Nature's Grasp not too far away, but is looking for an angle, and over towards the bot side. Panda was just hidden in the bush there and should be able to escape. Dive angle was there, but Mimic, he's happy just to keep on farming up a storm. Look at this. 30 CS gap continuing to grow down in that bot lane.
Yeah, well, they didn't really know where the Blitzcrank was exactly, so just not too keen on that dive. Onikan, this should be a kill for him if it's under tower.
Okay, Onikan going to get locked in, but for how long? Is it long enough? Tibbers.
Yeah, Voodoo just able to stay outside of the tower range. You could see exactly what Onikan was trying to do there once again, trying to bait Voodoo under tower with that twisted advance, but wasn't able to lock him in the tower's range. And so Voodoo walks away at a sliver of HP. Now Woofo once again is going to try to have some fun with fun in the top lane. Definitely a dive angle there for mine.
And there's another one. Straight under the turret. Getting a little bit too big for their boots again. Everyone having too much fun for my liking right now.
This really is just reminiscent of a solo queue game where every lane is just trying to fight constantly and win the game through their lane. There's no overarching team play. There's not necessarily like any macro game going on. You talked about the Dragons. We're 15 minutes into the game pretty much, and only one Dragon has been taken. All of these kills have pretty much just been happening in lane. Yes, some roams are happening here and there, but again, another fight.
Another fight, of course, and Mimic. Is he going to be able to survive? Looks like he certainly won't be able to. Michal running for his life and hoping that he can buy time for Onikan to rotate in, who's walked over Vision in the meanwhile. They are aware that he's coming. He's able to steal away the Blitz ult.
Well, it should still result in a bot tower getting pressured. Onikan definitely has a dive angle on Panda if Panda stays there alone, which he thinks is the case. He steals the Blitz ulti, and the Blitz ulti with the AP of the Silas is going to do a lot of damage. Onikan, a 3 versus 1 under tower. Tower died. That is bad news for Bahrain. Look, it was slipping away, Matt, but
it just feels over.
That was illegal.
Yeah, that was illegal. No one ready for the dive. No one thought that Onikan would actually jump into 3 under a tower, but he has. And that was disgusting. Arjwar is going to pillage the jungle. Ufo able to get some revenge onto Fun now over to the top side, and that's going to be the T1 falling at top as well.
Yeah.
Next Herald's up. Who's going to take it? Are they going to worry about it, or are they just going to keep on fighting? Let's find out right now.
Max, stop. Stop thinking about it, okay? Just think about the fights at this point. Thinking about the macro, thinking about the Rift Herald, thinking about the objectives. I don't know about that one, Chief. Look at this, though. This was such a nice dive from Onikan. I thought he kind of entered it a little bit because the Bahrain members were sticking around, but the fact that he has the heads-up play to steal the Blitz
so much
ulti.
Damage, bro.
Yeah, exactly, right? This is why you sometimes see AP Blitz when you're playing like ARAMs or for fun games. AP Blitz can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, well, finally a team fight. Everyone here, Team Saudi Arabia looking to go for a dive. Just put high prio again on getting these red buffs online. Mimic now, going to be able to dance backwards. Voodoo, a little too far forward, doesn't have the Nature's Grasp just yet, and it is going to be the reset angle. Arjwar now activating and looking to stun up a Storm, but it is going to be Woofo doing all of that and more. Arjwar again. Another reset. And the kills in the meanwhile going over to Mimic.
So what would you normally see a team do here?
Stay around mid.
Maybe. Maybe think about taking the Dragon. Maybe think about taking the Rift Herald as well. Instead, Viego's going to go down. Arjwar chasing a little bit too deep. Wufo's gone back up to the top lane. Don't mind that at all. I'd like to see Saudi Arabia take that mid tower and then pivot over to the Dragon.
Or the Herald, or both.
Or either, yeah.
Or any, or either.
Anything at this point, but instead, having a bit of trouble taking the mid tower.
They just want to fight. They literally just want Team Bahrain to overextend again. They're already at an 8k gold lead. They want more. They're hungry.
Exactly, but in all this time, they could have taken Dragon, they could have taken Rift Herald.
They certainly could have. But they didn't. They haven't. Well, lots of items coming online again for Team Saudi Arabia. And Onikan just wants to fight now. Of course, line. Now we'll see them turn their focus rather over towards this Cloud Drake, and we'll see the Rift change. We'll see what Soul is on offer. It is going to be a Mountain Rift, a Mountain Soul, and look, that'll be good for either team, honestly.
I don't think anything's going to be good for Bahrain at the moment. Look at Wufo. He is just unstoppable. Level 14, Mac. Only can't waste the TP to get up there.
To get a little cruggy.
He's level 14, Mac. The closest on Bahrain is level 11. He's 3 levels on literally everyone in this game.
Straight up travesty.
Bar his own mid laner, which is irrelevant. So, Wufo can just 1v9 this game at the moment, honestly.
It certainly feels that way. And we've seen it as well. Even when he does have the team behind him, he's just pumping the damage, pumping the CC, and locking it down long enough for all that AoE damage to come through. When he can't. Extremely dangerous as well. Voodoo. I feel like I've certainly been in this position where you just can't find anything. You're however many levels down.
It happens, man.
You just can't play the game.
Definitely. Definitely. I mean, look, the thing is, though, like, you have to try to find value in some way, shape, or form, and you have to look at where are the advantages for my team, where can I potentially catch back up and come back into this game, and that, of course, is down towards the bot lane.
What we can talk about is the difference in playstyle. Like, you say what is right, what you should do, etc., and what we've been talking about for the last 5 minutes. But if you compare West Asia to East Asia, there was no kills. It was all about the macro, and they were finishing games in 18 minutes.
Yep.
And
this is pure unbridled aggression,
it's
right?
Just team fights.
This is just, I see bad guy, I go kill, right?
Yep.
And fair enough.
Red is dead, man. Red is dead.
It works. It definitely works. But it is resulting in a messier game here for Saudi Arabia than what they might otherwise have had.
Yep, let it crossed in. See you later, Elder, and there's going to be no chance at a hook for you no more. Wufo hoping to get this one down. This is just going to be the pull-on right back. Ajwad hits better hooks than what we've seen from Elder this game.
This is literally, in a nutshell, Saudi Arabia saying anything you can do, I can do better. You've got a Viego who can literally turn into your opponent's champions.
Yeah.
And a Silas that steals their ultimates.
The only objective, it feels like they've been interested in this whole game, is the Baron. Hitting it on cooldown. And there is no chance of Team Bahrain coming close. Voodoo, he's going to start to walk across, but by the time he gets here, it'll be 10 seconds after the Baza. And, you know, with this Nash buff, let's see what they opt to do. It's probably just going to be the A-ramp. 4-1 split with Wufo, again, looking to take it straight towards Team Bahrain at top lane. He realizes, okay, there's some damage there. Fun has taken me down.
Oh, they've got a Herald too. They can just end the game right here.
Dancing Shelly.
Oh, we might.
Shelly angle.
We might
fast enough that there's no damage yet. Yep, Shelly. He's looking. Team Saudi Arabia, have they had enough?
Yeah.
Are they going to make this happen? Is the Shelly going to get this charge off? Will they dive? Will they fight?
Now they will.
Right now, just waiting for that turret to fall down, and now it is just going to be the attempt at the all-in. Wufo going to be the target. Lots of damage lost already. Tib is going to be chasing him down, and Team Bahrain just going in with the wild growth. Oh my lord, Onikan. It's not looking too good. Wow, there's a nice hook. Finally, Team Bahrain, a chance for them to activate.
Yeah, bit of misplay, honestly, there for Saudi Arabia. Mimic gets hooked to start the fight off there. Instantly goes your 2-item Aphelios. Bot lane's been having a toughie, actually, for Saudi Arabia so far today. It's really been through the top side of the map that they've been finding those advantages, but if you are pretty much playing a 4v5 under your opponent's Nexus turret, then you're not really going to win that fight. So, misexecution from Saudi Arabia. They could definitely have gotten more out of that Baron buff and out of that Rift Herald than what they did. This is actually a little bit worrisome, though. Onikan buying time. Mimic's going to get there. Moonlight Vigil connects, and there goes the Blitzcrank. Now who's to follow? Roam comes through from Ajwad as he comes back across from the bot lane.
Voodoo's gone. Ajwad going to be able to turn into the Maokai and try and get anything done, but I don't think there's going to be too many Bahrain members close enough to find Mimic. However, going to be trying to chase them down. Happy just to be going solo here. He knows he can win this 1v2 every day of the week. Panda hoping that he can be fast enough to escape. What's he going to opt for? Looks like he will just try to give his life, try to just draw that attention out from Mimic to elongate the game. And look, damage traded is going to be nowhere near enough for Panda there. Dynamo falls in the meanwhile, and this game should be it.
Yeah, all right. If that wasn't the end angle, this might just be.
This is Grass going to be going forward, and
unless they fountain dive.
Potential ace. I'm not surprised if they do go for the fountain dive. Just allow the Winions to do it instead. But what can Voodoo do here? He's going to try to soak something up, try to make anything happen fun. He might not have enough damage. He might not have time to do any damage. And it is, of course, going to be the attempt at the fountain dives. Winions MVP.